She was born on Friday the 11th of September after about just over 24 hours of labour. She was born at 11:45 a.m. in the morning. I think to initially sort of see her and hold her, it was quite a nerve-wracking thing, or you were quite worried of what she'd look like, because obviously by that point she'd been gone 2 days.
He was born alive. He did have a heartbeat. He lived for probably, I think it was about an hour. He was born on the 31st of December. He weighed 11 ounces and was 23 centimetres long. So he was born. He's still born.
So I found out at 4 weeks that I was pregnant. So obviously we're over the moon, a little bit shocked. I had a very good pregnancy, no problems at all. And I remember saying to Ben in the morning, well, maybe about 11, 12 o'clock, God, my eyesight, my vision has gone funny. I've got black and white, like blurry vision. I feel funny. And he was just like, well, you've got an appointment about 3 o'clock with the doctor. Why don't you just ask the doctor and mention it to him then? I just didn't think anything of it. So I got to the doctor's appointment. She said, oh, how are you feeling? Get up on the bed, let's listen to the heartbeat. And then she was like, I can't find it at the moment. Let me just get a midwife, because your midwife happens to be at the surgery today. So I'll go and get her, and it might be my machine, so we'll get another machine. And I was like, okay, then that's fine. So I just laid there, felt like forever on the bed thinking, where is everybody? And my midwife came in and tried to check. She then tried at another machine and then couldn't find it. And then she made me stand up and physically sort of touched my tummy and said, oh, when did you last feel her move? And I was thinking, I can't actually recall. She sort of held my hands and she said, right, we need to ring your partner and we need to get you to hospital as soon as possible.
I can't actually remember what she said. I think it was along the lines of there is no heartbeat. And Louis still looked, I don't understand, a bit baffled. And I think me and her mum broke down crying and then kind of said, then it hit Louise and we just sort of kind of broke down, and I think the consultant was talking, but I didn't really take much of it in. I think, I knew, but until that point where it was actually confirmed, you kind of hope for the best. And that's kind of the start of the sort of horrible journey that we went on.
I think most parents that have gone through a loss will always say that. I think those words are the worst to hear, because you generally don't want to believe it. And then you just see this little lifeless baby. And I think the hardest thing was, I thought they would just automatically C-section me there and then and get the baby out. But they were like, right, you need to go home and sleep. And I thought, sleep? Oh my God. I don't think we're going to sleep at all. And we didn't sleep all night. We just cried, and I remember Ben just wrapping his arms around me and hugging me and thinking, I'm carrying a lifeless being in my belly.
The worst bit, I think, was, apart from being told, was going home and being there, me and her, knowing that we'd spent nearly 9 months waiting for something and it wasn't going to happen. It was weirdly, there's something positive about the fact that, at least she can still give birth and we're still having a baby, and every now and again you sort of forget that it's because, you're having a dead baby. You just, I don't know, it escapes your mind every now and again. But I think because we had to focus on getting the baby out and then worry about the next day afterwards. So, yeah.
The one word that I can say that summed up that day was traumatic. It was totally unexpected. To see your only child, your baby, go through something as traumatic as that, it was just awful. I mean, she was so strong. From my perspective as being a first-time nana, I don't know where Lauren got her strength from. To watch her go through labour and to know there was going to be no little bundle of joy at the end, to take home was just so cruel. But he came out, and he came out alive. He was still breathing, and we were able to spend as much time as we wanted with him, which we did. They brought in a little hat and a blanket and wrapped him up in it. And, we all had cuddles, and we just spoke to him. And I think we had him for about 4 or 5 hours after he was born, but they said that he must have passed after about an hour.
He was the first grandchild, both sides. At that point, I was 19 weeks and 6 days, where any child born before 24 weeks is not viable for any sort of intervention. So they wouldn't be able to step in and try and prolong his life. We were lucky in the sense that we got to register him, register his birth, and then obviously we've registered his death, whereas most people, I think, don't get any of that. The hospital give you a box with all the memories and keepsake things that they provide. I just got a different box because I wanted to add more things to it, and that box wasn't quite big enough. What they give you is a teddy bear, which DaCosta will have one that he got to keep, and then we get one as well. A little hat, so you can kind of see this hat as well was kind of too big for him, so his head was quite small really. Because DaCosta was born alive, he came out of my womb with a heartbeat, I was actually entitled to my maternity leave, whereas if he wasn't, I would have just been classed as been signed off as sick, and and that's not what it is. You're not sick, it's you should still be entitled to your benefits that any other mum would have gone through, because at the end of the day you're still a mum and you've still given birth and you've been through that experience. So
SANS exists to support bereaved parents after the death of a baby, and SANS has 3 aims, and the first is supporting anyone affected by the death of a baby, to work in partnership with health professionals to improve the bereavement care that parents receive in hospital, and to promote and fund research that we feel could reduce the loss of babies' lives. Shockingly, 15 babies die every day in the UK before, during or shortly after birth. My own baby died 34 years ago following major heart surgery, and we called him Baby Shane. I just think that SANS is a very unique charity, and parents, after parents have had a funeral for their baby, if they've had a funeral, we know that often a lot of the support falls away from family and friends because everybody else's life goes back to normal, and then parents are left grieving with little or no support, and that's when parents come to us for support.
So actually maybe it would be nice to have a group that's not necessarily sitting in a circle talking about your losses, but just mums that have been through something similar aren't going to say to you, "This is your best baby," or you don't have to explain yourself.
You can just be open, have a bad day, be really open and honest, and
you don't have to fight to explain what
why you get that. Oh yeah, I've had that. And you're like,
and we offer support in many ways. We feel that it's for parents to choose how they want to support. So we have a national helpline, which is a free phone number, and people can also email, because some people prefer not to speak on the phone.
Once I started working with families who'd sadly lost babies, I realised firstly that the care that we give them matters hugely, but I soon realised that that's not where their story ends. Although it might feel like an end in one sense, about 70% of women who lose a baby are pregnant again within a year. So when we think about grief and loss, that's the most difficult year. That anyone who's been bereaved knows that first year, with all its memories but also with all its firsts, is hugely difficult. And I realised that people were becoming pregnant again, but in grief. So my thoughts were, I wonder how best to, as a midwife, to support women in those situations. You know, they don't really fit back into normal, say, antenatal classes. And so I wrote a course called Rainbow Antenatal, and worked with parents in trying to support them and be a companion in that sort of journey to preparing for a new baby when they've lost a baby already. A storm has happened that's caused devastation, and yet there is the possibility of hope and light. So a rainbow comes out after a storm. It doesn't negate the fact that there's been a storm or diminish its effects or try and downplay the storm. The storm has happened, but the rainbow comes out bringing some sense of light, some sense of hope in the future, and a rainbow baby is just that. It's a new baby that brings light and hope and love, more love to families.
3, 2, 1.
Thankfully, which I didn't think was going to happen so soon, Lauren is expecting again, and I have another grandson on the way. Rainbow baby. There's my grandson that's on his way. He's due 2nd of February 2018. Whether she carries for that long, we're not sure that's going to happen, but she's be 28 weeks gone this Friday coming, and at the moment, to me, every Friday is like Christmas, because every Friday she's managed to hold on to that pregnancy for another week and another week and another week, and the longer she holds on to the pregnancy, the more healthier the baby's going to be. We don't want him to come too soon.
Every moment I'm just like waiting to feel the first like proper kick and things like that. There's all these happy moments that I've got to come along. Getting to where we are now, today I'm 27 weeks, which again, it's like another milestone. It's just like, oh my God, like now we're viable.
I think when you have a rainbow, you think, I'll have a rainbow and it'll make me feel that bit better. And it does fill a bit of a void that you've obviously missed out on from your baby loss. But obviously we're blessed with Everly. And so we have got our rainbow, you know, a little bit of sunshine and light at the end of the tunnel with her. But I think what we've learned is just even like her first smile and just thinking, oh, we will never see that from Adora. We won't know what her smile ever looks like. And I know we've got a lot more milestones even, you know, coming up to her first birthday, that we get to celebrate it with her, you know, first Christmases, Mother's Day. And I guess when she starts talking and telling me she loves me, it's just things like that we will never, ever see. And I will always in the back of my mind be thinking, oh, Dora should be 2 now, so might be doing this. Or, you know, when the NCT friends that I met at this time when I was pregnant with Adora, I'm still friends with them. Obviously, when all their little children start school, I'll be thinking, well, Adora should be with those guys starting school, and I guess graduations, and if they're going off to uni, what would she be, basically?
It has been a roller coaster of emotions, because you're one side happy and you don't want to let the previous experience, you know, filter any joy that you're going to get through this one. But there's always that like inkling in the back of your head, like, okay, we're doing good now, and let's kind of like not get your hopes up too much.
I think you're always going to wonder, and you're never going to know. You can only imagine or dream of what she might have become or the person she might have been.